Alright, so this is tests, I suppose, to see how well this will work out as content. It'll probably be YouTube only if it does go up, and going forward if it does work out, but we'll see. So, Magic Arena, obviously. Just gonna be... This is my own deck list. It's probably similar to others you've seen out there, but, well, it's my own budget version. I don't typically net deck, so this is just what I've put together. It works occasionally. Here's the deck list. Got Warlock class for... Honestly, that's mostly the finisher. It's good for finding cards, but it's mostly used for taking the opponent down and amplifying damage late game. Sphere of Annihilation is a board wipe, hits the graveyard, hits planeswalkers, hits creatures. What's not to like, except for the part where it takes a turn to kick in. And artifacts are pretty vulnerable right now, so it's hit or miss. You could probably go ahead and miss this one if you're on a budget. Revitalize, life gain, card draw, check for traps to clear stuff out of their hand, fracture for everything that isn't a creature. Vanishing Verse, very useful, permanent removal. Cram Session to hit the sideboard. Meathook Massacre, board wipe. If you've got enough mana, failing that, it's decent sustain and a little bit of pinging. Poison Cup for removal. You could probably pull this out for, I don't know, other options. It's nice for the scry, mostly. Baleful Mastery for permanent removal. Haggard Mauling, extra removal, or more likely, it's just a land. Doomscar board wipe, Shadow's Verdict, permanent board wipe for anything 3 or less. Blood on the Snow for board wipe. Maria's Call for late game aggression, or more likely land. And Professor Onyx for amplification, really. Find some cards, makes all of your removal actually do things to their health total. And then you've got lands, got Cave the Frost Dragon, Hive the Eye Tyrant, and Faceless Haven with 2 Fields of Ruin. You could probably stand to swap out a plains for another Field of Ruin, given how many people are running the transform lands. Sideboard, you've got your lessons, environmental sciences. That's mostly what you're going to be using cram sessions for. The shuffling algorithm really does not like giving you more than 2, maybe 3 lands in your starting hand. Reduced memory for some extra removal. Necrotic Fumes I never really use. It's mostly... Oh right, I forgot. Sunset Revelry. This is kind of the best card in the entire deck. It does a lot. If you're up against an aggro deck, it's great life gain. And also you get some chump blockers. If you're up against a control deck, it's great draw power, because nobody wants to counter this. Generally speaking, you're going to want to use it when you can get at least 2 of the effects, because if you're only getting 1, well, Revitalize is better for both. Well, it's slightly worse life gain, but you get both of them at instant speed for the same cost, so Revitalize is just better if you're only getting 1 effect, but the versatility of this is really nice. Anyway, so Necrotic Fumes can leverage the fact that you can generate a fair amount of creatures. Not a huge amount, but an amount. Mascot Exhibition for finisher, mostly. Confront the past in case you need to get your Lily back, but most of the time that's what Blood in the Snow is for. You could probably pull this out, and also Professor Onyx for, like, 2 more board wipes, or maybe some more targeted removal. Like, pull out the Blood in the Snows for Doomscar, Baleful Mastery and Professor Onyx for maybe another Banishing Burst or something. Or maybe another Cramp Session. And then you could swap out the Confront the Past for another Mascot Exhibition or Environmental Sciences or something. Then you've got sideboard for BF3, Fateful Absences if you need some extra removal, another Fracture if they're very heavy on artifact non-creature stuff. This is great against mono-red aggro decks because this completely nullifies Relic Robber's auxiliary effect. All of those annoying little one-drop aggro creatures, haste 1/1s. You don't care anymore. Baleful Mastery is useful. Lulth is nice if you have a lot of opportunities to generate creatures. Other than that, you could probably give her a miss. And then Devastating Masteries if you really need full board wipes. Yeah, so that's the deck. Onwards to the ladder, and we'll see how this goes. Alright, well, let's see. Snowfield into check for traps, I think. Yeah. Alright, what's new here? I think that goes away. And Cram Session for whatever that spell is called, land search thing. Environmental Sciences, that's what it was. Thin out my deck a bit. Board wipe would be real nice around now. Shadow's Verdict one time. I think I do drop this, just in case he drops something for me to fracture. Like that. Okay, Shadow's Verdict one time. Otherwise it's starting to get a little bit questionable. That works too. It's not quite as good, obviously, since you can get those things back, but I think I Hagra Mauling that, but let's see what he does. Let's see what Villain does. Felidar Retreat. They don't say. So Hagra Mauling that, and then Vanishing Verse the Felidar Retreat. And pass. Cleric class. Okay. And I'm very, very sorry, my friend. That's what I'd like to say, but I'm really not. I think now is the time to Mascot Exhibition. Yes, upgraded. How unfortunate. How truly, truly unfortunate. Well, this is the deck working more or less at peak capacity. Sure. pretty much as good as I could possibly hope for in terms of outcome. So, here's hoping that this continues, right? I don't think there's any way for him to recover from this. Yeah. A board wipe would have helped, but it only would have slowed it down. What he needed would have been... Honestly, the only thing that would have saved him at that point would have been if he top-decked his Faceless Haven and that one. If he top-decked his Faceless Haven, I passed on that hand. Let's say Meat Hook Massacre is probably the less useful of the two between that and Shadow's Verdict. Secret... You what? Okay. Well, that's not something you see every day. Uh-huh. Creature stealing. Well, let's say no, you don't get to draw. Unless you top deck a land. Which you didn't do, so... How truly unfortunate. Land one time? Oh, that's rude. Uh-huh. I think I do this. Yes, I want both of those. Alright, let's see what you've got. Razalax. Nice. I think not. Professor Onyx. Too expensive. Okay. Huh. Fascinating. I think that goes away. Question is, do I wait to... Okay, sure. I think I just bail from Mastery it now. Gives him a card, but... Well... Obviously it wasn't that important. Okay. Cherix also needs to go away. Oh. I see. Okay then. How unfortunate. I have to give you another card. Yeah. I forgot that that was a thing. Now that doesn't actually matter for the moment, unless he has some way of... getting those things to lose defender. Do you actually have a counterspell? Seriously? That's hilarious. Sure. It resolves. I think what I do is this. I'm slowly taking you down. Another one. Sure. It resolves. I think what I do is this. And I'll start pumping up the Riddlemaster Sphinx, but he'll also start playing creatures. Ideally. Please play something. He can't play the Cyclone Giant, because that wouldn't make sense. At least he shouldn't play the Cyclone Giant, because that wouldn't make sense. Dragon Turtle, sure. I think what I do next is draw a card or tell and pass turn. Excuse me, I said pass turn. This is... I swear the client gets laggier every update. Now here's a question. Do you want to use that giant to yours? Even a skydiver? Huh. You may as well play the Mind Flayer, my dude. I have creatures. Alright then. Whoosh. Now, to be fair, this is a very, very painfully slow deck. And if you get overwhelmed at the early game, then you're probably going to have some problems. There we go. Now, was that so hard? Unfortunately for you, you do have some problems. I don't want to get rid of. The sod cuttings are the most annoying thing in there. I do have exactly enough mana to Doomscar and still use the Hide the Eye Tyrant. That's the good news. And I've got more than enough life, too. Ah, there we go. There we go. Whoosh. Now that does give him extra draws. More than kind. Really? Ah, but that was the wrong choice, my friend. You see, I got some bad news for you. Faceless Haven or check for traps. That's a very difficult option, but I think I go for Faceless Haven. A very difficult choice, rather. I'll probably pump it up again. Ah, no, Jerks. Alright. Now, unfortunately for you... Ah, I see. Saw it coming? Yep. Saw that coming. Unfortunately for you, I've got a second board here. Alright. Yeah, go right ahead. I think my best option is Meat Hook Massacre and then Faceless Haven. So do this for 3. So that is a sorcery. Now is the time for the mascot exhibition. Well, would have been, rather. Alright, so I suppose we'll go over the deck list now. As soon as the server decides that I do in fact exist and am allowed to connect to it. Alright, where the hell is it? That was the wrong button. Again with the server. Alright. This is honestly a pretty bad hand, but we got 4 lands effectively and 2 board wipes, and they're passable if we can get 1 more land. Plus Revitalize for stalling and some extra card draw. It's tolerable. Unfortunately, Revitalize is the only early game play, but, well, we'll see. If this turns out to be a control deck, I'm going to cry. Ah, we're slow. Okay, aggro deck. Alright then, land 1 time. Perfect. Next turn, cram session. Turn after that, environmental sciences. Of course, quintessential. Turn 2, Luminarch Aspirant. Happens pretty much every time. Mono white aggro decks. You always know where you stand with them. Alright, environmental sciences, please. Second Lunar Aspirant. Sure. Gonna be getting hit a bit, but still got a decent amount of health. Alright then, let's do it this way. Grab that. Drop this. And turn. Now hopefully this is the point where not that happens. Although, what I was expecting was actually Redain, which really would have fucked me up. As it is, this is just mildly annoying. Arguably, I should have dropped the Sunset Revelry for the tokens, but again, it's not hugely worth it to do it for just one effect. Now, if you drop some creatures, I Sunset Revelry, I get 2 tokens and some life, but it's not really going to help against them all the Skyclaves, unfortunately. Okay, instant speed removal 1 time. This is really the problem with this. Excuse me? Huh. Well, that's a thing. Alright, what have I got? Baleful Mastery. Sure. Now the question is, do I... Okay, I'm gonna hold that. If he throws the Faceless Haven out, then I'll kill it. If he does that, then I just exile it, and he wasted his turn. I have a feeling that was one of his finishers. Okay, so drop this. See what we've got. Field of Ruin. Perfect. And this, kids, is why you should always wait until after you've done your card seeking to make sure that you, you wait until after you've done your card seeking to draw your lands. Why would you have this in a mono white deck? Why did I just do that? Alright, well, let's do this and pass. I needed to drop the Field of Ruin. Right. How did I forget about the mall? You'd think that would be a little bit more difficult to do. Okay, that's 3 cost. So I think I Sphere of Annihilation for 3. Well, X equals 3, rather. Yes, are you gonna do something? Wakey wakey. Okay. X equals 3. Pass. Although arguably it could have Shadow's Verdicted for... It's hardly worth using the Sphere of Annihilation for just 3. Because, well, Shadow's Verdict does it better. It only costs 1 more, and... Ah, right. This is why you should read cards. Anyway, as I was saying, Shadow's Verdict does it better. It's instantaneous, and the main draw of Sphere of Annihilation is that you can hit higher than 3. So I probably should have just used the Shadow's Verdict. Would have eaten my tokens, but I wasn't going to be attacking with them anyway. Villain is asleep. Hello. Wake up. Priority is yours, my friend. Villain appears to be missing some brain cells. It's a simple yes or no question, you know? Do you want to draw a card, or do you not want to draw a card? I don't want you to draw a card, so you probably should draw a card. Upon consideration, Villain is actually missing several brain cells because he has Faceless Haven and no Snowlands. I probably should have checked that before I popped the Field of Ruin. Oh well. It is still your turn, Villain. It is still your priority. There you go. Alright, what's in your hand? Guardian of Faith. Huh. Alright. Honestly, the portable hole is the one that's more annoying to get rid of. I think what I do is this will pass. Now, ideally, he drops the Skyclave Apparition, eats the Warlock class, and then I can Shadow's Verdict for both of them. So you can still do that after he uses the Maul. But he's gonna be annoying, isn't he? Come on. Drop it, you know you want to. Alright, fine. Jeez. Oh, this again? At least it doesn't have haste. Okay. Let's do it this way. I don't really have good options here. Unfortunately. He's gonna use the Maul on that, and then he's going to swing in. I have to chump my land, and then I'm probably in trouble next turn. Unless I top deck some removal, I'm in pretty deep trouble. I can hit him for 16 next turn, but that's unfortunately not quite enough. Or can I even hit him for 16? Ah, yes, I see. The shuffler has spoken. It is time for me to lose. I'm hardly surprised. I won 2 in a row already, so... It's a board wipe, or single target removal, or... hell, a Sunset Revelry. Speaking of which, I think I take this. Got the Hacker Mauling for black. Yes. Now it's time to lose to a rule aggro deck. Alright then, let's pretend the Doomscar. I'm probably gonna need it. Excuse you? Dragon's Approach. Oh boy. Alright then. It's one of these decks. That's gonna be annoying. Yeah. Check for traps, it's probably the best option. Arguably Cram Session was the better choice. Replicating Ring. You don't say. What's in your hand? Leyline Tyrant. Yeah, that can go away forever. Next turn, I'll drop Lily. And I'll see if I can manage to maintain any sort of advantage there. I do have Blood in the Snow, but I don't have enough snow lands to make it work. You can Frostbite this. If you top deck the second one, then, well, Lily's gone forever. Well, not forever, but for the moment. You know you want to. You know you're going to, so just do it. Unless that other card in your hand is a Shatter Skull Smashing. It's probably your best bet. Sphere of Annihilation. I think Amaria's Call is what I want out of those. So I can hard cast it next turn. Really now. Land removal? Okay, sure. You get your thing. I get my thing.
There has to be an answer here.
I think I'm gonna need to fracture the replicating ring next turn. It's gonna be annoying if it gets up to full charges. Dragon's Fire. Alright. And then Frostbite. Okay. Yeah.
You a second chance.
There you go. All your removal burned for one thing.
Don't need my help.
In that case, Maria's Call. Replicating Ring has a few more turns left. Now you've got problems, my friend. Ones that you'd better solve soon. There we go. I see. Yes, I do believe it is time to lose. Yeah, not looking too good here. Arguably, the other's hand was even better. Bulky. Alright. I think the village right goes. Village rights goes. That causes him to lose life, and it also removes some card draw, and his option to eat the eye twitch, unless you top deck to sacrifice. Let's do this. Stalls. Arguably the cram session was the better play there. So that would guarantee me 2 plays next turn. Okay, that's the correct choice. Except for the part where, unfortunately, I don't gain health from this. But now I can stall for a bit. Alright, well, I'll just trade them. Now, arguably, I could have held that double block for the witch, but okay, let's do it this way. Environmental sciences for black. Next turn, I can Shadow's Verdict. Next turn, I do Shadow's Verdict. He doesn't have the snow lanes to use the Faceless Haven, except, of course, he top decks it. And, of course, the black lands, so nothing can use immediately. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and... do I like it? I think I actually just go and hit her. And then draw. Okay. That's not exactly the ideal draw. Now if he's smart and doesn't have removal in hand, that's the bigger if. And then he'll hold the Faceless Haven. Ah. Okay. Let's do it this way then. X equals 6. Do you have enchant, or do you have artifact removal? Doesn't look like it, because most of the black-white artifact removal is... Of course he top decks Kaya.
I just want to get out and finish the job.
Alright, fine. That's why I was holding Blood in the Snow.
Let's go.
Really now. Do I gamble that he has removal? He has removal. Alright. So this was a poor play. Ah, you want to give me cards? Sure. Of course, lands. I should have suspected. Alright, so Blood in the Snow next. I would love another Shadow's Verdict, but more or less what I'm expecting is what I expected before, which is that I lose. Yeah, alright. And I think I'll call things there. Shuffler has spoken, so I think I will go ahead and stop before I just go on a losing streak, because the shuffler has spoken. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time I decide to do this.